Hello, I am just out in the greenhouse and today I'm going to be starting my Ranunculus corms. So this is how I stored them over winter. I just stored them with all their dirt on exactly the same way I store my dahlia tubers, straight on this tray and in a dark cool shelf in the garage. So it's really probably the easiest way to store them. It's completely no fuss. I don't wash them. I have found that the dirt acts as insulation for them over winter, and I've had way more success with storing my dahlia tubers this way as well. So I do recommend leaving the dirt on. If you're new here, my name is Ellie and I'm an urban cut flower grower here in Taupo, New Zealand, which is gardening zone 9B if you are watching from anywhere else in the world. I love sharing growing tips and I love sharing bouquet recipes over on my Instagram as well. And I'm hoping to make a few more flower arranging videos here when I have flowers again in spring. So thank you very much for following along. And if I just pick one up here, try and give you a closer look. So this is what they look like now. I'm hoping that's focusing in for you. So this is what a ranunculus corm looks like when it's pretty dried out. You can see I didn't really trim many of the stems back, and this is from one plant from last spring, but I can actually separate that into two corms. I'm not sure if I could get a third out of that one. But yes, you can multiply your stock this way as well. So to start with, I'm just going to tidy them up a little bit. So I'm going to take them from looking like that to looking like this. So I'm just going to cut that old stem off, and I can actually see here that this is two corms stuck together. Again, it's from the one plant where I divided it, but I'm wondering if I can separate those, but I don't want to break them either. So what I want to do with these next is to rehydrate them. So I have a bucket of water here. So once I've tidied them up, I am just going to pop them in my bucket of water. Now I don't over soak them. I have found they can be prone to rot if you soak them for too long. So I'm going to give them half an hour and then I'm going to check them, and I might push that out to an hour, but I'll let you know on the screen how long I end up soaking them for. So I'm just going to tidy up the rest of this tray and get them in that bucket of water to rehydrate again. Okay, so I've just gone through and processed them all and just given them a little bit of a tidy up, and this is what we are left with now. There's some that I couldn't separate that I'm hoping once they're rehydrated I'll be able to pull them apart without snapping the corm there. So I'm going to pop these into a bucket of water now. I need to go and put a bit more water in there just so they're not all smushed. Okay, I've got my bucket of ranunculus corms that have been soaking for half an hour now, and I just went to check on them and I'm pretty happy with how they're looking after half an hour. So I'll just pick one out to show you. So this is how they're looking after half an hour. You can see they are nice and plump now. So I'm going to go on to pop these up in one of my trays. I don't want to over soak them again, just because in the past I found that they are prone to rot. So I'd rather underdo it than overdo it when it comes to the soaking of them. So I've got my tray here and I'm just going to go down with my corms just on top like that. I didn't label any of these as to the ranunculus variety at the end of spring, so it's just going to be a surprise to me what they are. Some of these I had grown from seed last spring, so I now have the corms from them, and then others are second year corms as well. You can see now that I've soaked them, it's actually much easier to pull them apart, and it's easier to see if there's two corms together now that they're plump as well. And yeah, I think half an hour was perfect soaking time. And I have no doubt that I'm gonna lose some of these to rot, because I do every year lose a few. I will just account for that when buying any more corms after I see what the rate looks like on these sprouting. Some of these are tiny, so I'd say these smaller ones are from my seed grown ranunculus, so I'm hoping that these corms will plump up and be really nice big ones next spring. So when I'm placing these on the potting mix, I'm just placing them so the little tentacle looking parts of the corm are facing down. I'm just going to sprinkle over a little layer of potting mix on top of there as well. So that is my first tray of ranunculus corms. I'm just going to give this a little sprinkle of water and pop it down here on a shelf in the greenhouse. So the greenhouse actually ended up being way too warm. We had a couple of cold days and I thought it was going to be all right, but it just got too warm. So this is the very pretty shelf that I kept my corms on. So it's just inside the garage, which is much cooler than the greenhouse. So yeah, I just popped them in there. I don't want this to be drenched, so I'm going to water it once and then I'm pretty much going to leave it. I don't want it to get bone dry, as long as, yeah, I don't let it dry out completely. It doesn't need a lot of water. I will notice roots coming through from the bottom before I notice any green shoots on top, but I will keep you updated with how long it takes from now until I see those shoots. So this is what they look like after, would have been close to a month. I got a bit carried away and I've planted out most of my tray that was sprouted, but I left a few behind to show you. So this is what they are looking like once they've pre-sprouted. You can see the roots there and the green growth as well. Now the tray definitely came along at different rates. I don't know if that was just the difference between my seed grown ranunculus corms, so first year corms, and then corms that were a little bit older. But I noticed some corms started sprouting after around that 7 to 10 day mark, and then others we are almost, I believe, a month in now, and some are just only starting to pop up now. So you can see this one here is only just emerging, and I've got quite established ones in the same tray. So do have a little bit of patience if yours don't start popping up right away. There's still hope for them. I did lose a few to rot. See here, it's hard to see. I think that one was just so small that even the half an hour soaking was just maybe a little bit too much for it, but if you've got more robust corms, they will be fine. But yeah, I have planted out a lot of these at the moment and I've got just a few more to go out now, and then I will be starting a whole load more corms soon too, because I just ordered another 70. So you can see this one here, beautiful big plant. So I will show you what I do to my soil when I am planting my ranunculus out. When I'm planting my ranunculus, I make sure to add some extra nitrogen to the soil, and I also go in with some blood and bone as well. Ranunculus are very, very heavy feeders and they really benefit from an early boost of nitrogen, which will help support that foliage, especially on your plants that you may have grown from seed, but I will also do it for my corm grown plants as well. So I just go in with some of those as to the packet's instruction on my beds, and then I'm going to add a nice thick layer of mulch on there as well. Now this bed looks so terrible. This is where I have most of my ranunculus at the moment, and I planted them and the dog came and dug them all up. So I did my best to save what I could and put them back. Ignore my spacing. I always plant everything really, really closely, but if you are wanting to do it properly, around 20 centimeters is great. I have never found that my plants suffer from a little bit of a closer spacing, but they do suffer from Labradors. So I've got one bed at the back there that's ranunculus. I've got ranunculus under here as well, and then I also have another bed of the same size just across the other side of the garden that have ranunculus in them too. So I've just got my corm here, and I'm just going to dig a bit of a hole, bury it up to where those sprouts are coming out, just like that. And I will give that a feed of liquid seaweed fertilizer too, just to reduce any transplant shock, and I have never found it hurts. So yeah, a nice big feed, and I will feed these once a week with fish and seaweed tonic, and then an all-purpose fertilizer as well, just because they are such hungry feeders. If you want those really big kind of luscious blooms, they're hungry plants. As my ranunculus are growing, I will just keep an eye out for aphids, especially as we get closer to spring when the weather's warming up. I actually planted some feverfew and achillea kind of around all my different flower beds, and nasturtium as well, at the last growing season, and I didn't actually have any aphids on my flower crops. So I think just that little bit of diversity within the planting might have helped. I might just have been lucky. I've had terrible aphid years before, but that was my first year really trying to mix in some of those beneficial plants into my beds instead of just having straight single variety beds, which it looks a little bit more chaotic, but if it keeps the aphids away, I am here for it. So I might try that again. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about growing your ranunculus. They are one of my favourite spring flowers, and I just can't wait to have those big squishy marshmallowy blooms again. Once I have ranunculus, I will make more videos on when to cut them, and I will hopefully do some bouquet demonstrations and recipes. But yeah, hopefully you found this useful, and they really are a beautiful flower, so good luck.